This is ABC 7 News This Morning.
The morning's top headlines: an Italian court could rule within hours whether American Amanda Knox is guilty of murder. American Amanda Knox could know this morning whether she will go free or spend the rest of her life in an Italian prison.
She is on trial in Perugia, Italy, for murdering her roommate Meredith Kircher in 2009. Now, she addressed an appeals court earlier today. She said the murder charges against her are groundless and unfair, saying she is, quote, paying with my life for things I did not do. Attorney Thomas Glasgow joins us now with a closer look at this case. Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning, guys.
Nice to have you here. Now, we heard about Amanda's statement this morning. Do you think that will make a difference?
This is her last pitch to the jury to end up telling them exactly what she feels and perhaps resonate with that jury to tell them, hey, please find me not guilty, or at the very least reduce my sentence and let me go free. I've been in jail for 4 years. This is punishment enough based on the evidence that's here. So please give me mercy. Let me go.
It just seems so different, the legal system there in Italy, and the way this whole thing is playing out, as opposed to the way we're used to things happening.
Well, we've talked about this before. When you go overseas, you're subject to the laws and the system of the country that you're in. It is quite different in Italy as it is in here. In the United States, when you appeal a verdict, you don't retry the case. You just go and talk about points of law before the appellate court. In Italy, they actually retry the case before a panel. And the panel here in the United States is 3 judges generally that you have in the Illinois Appellate Court or in the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. In Italy, you've got 8 people. You've got 2 judges and you've got 6 civilians. And those people act as a jury. Now, when they go back to the jury room, the jurors are guided by the judges during the course of the deliberations, but are not supposed to be swayed by those jurors. The judges do get a vote, so you have 2 judges that can vote in this situation, but they get to hear the evidence all over again. And that's part of what's so interesting here, is because they sent that DNA evidence back to be re-examined, and the DNA evidence may be the key to get her out of jail.
Well, since they are sort of retrying this case right now, let's talk about the pros and cons for both sides and what they have presented.
Well, there are basically 5 reasons why she should be found guilty and 5 reasons why she should be found not guilty. The 5 reasons she should be found guilty are, number 1, the confession. She did confess to the crime. Number 2, she made a false accusation against the bar owner during the course of this, and he ended up spending 2 weeks in jail before he was freed by a Swiss businessman who gave him the alibi and was let go. So she pointed at somebody who didn't do this during the course of the investigation. She has no alibi. The alibi that she was supposed to have was with her boyfriend. She was sleeping with her boyfriend, but the boyfriend can't corroborate the time or the date or when they do this. The computer records that they had, the computer and the phone records, they both turned their phones off during the time of the murder. The computers that the boyfriend was supposed to have, they were supposed to be watching movies on it, but instead of watching movies on it, the Italian police found that there was no computer activity whatsoever. And there was a staged break-in. When they looked in the room, the glass that was broken was on top of the messed up clothes, not underneath any of the things that had been disheveled. Now, the things that work for her to find her not guilty are, number 1, the lack of any motive. She was simply a roommate. They got into some tiffs over housework, but that really isn't enough to give a reason for murder. Second, the DNA evidence. The DNA evidence here is on both the knife and the bra clasp, both of which was sent back to an independent examiner, both of which found over 50 things that they had done wrong for international protocols. Not only that, they only found 4 or 5 cells of hers and his on that knife, and they found starch and other things. The lack of no witnesses. Nobody can put her at the scene of the crime, and there's a doubt as to the murder weapon. The murder weapon itself that caused the wounds has never been found. Finally, there was a false confession, which we have talked about here on this set and in Illinois before.
My goodness. So much to consider, and we should know probably sometime later today.
Roughly 1 o'clock this afternoon, we should know.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you guys very much
for coming in this morning. And by the way, Good Morning America will have, of course, the very latest on the verdict and the trial today.
Other news for you this morning.